Tonight, Samoa Joe is on commentary. Seth Rollins apologizes, and we get more Lana. Yeah. Can't believe I'm a Kevin Owens fan because the Monday Night Raw After Show and AfterBuzz TV starts right now.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
This is Steve. Yo, how's everyone going? Wait for that Mac Lish.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Boy, I didn't even mess around with
Hope
that.
your Thanksgiving was doing all right. Thank you very much for tuning in to me and the show. Flobo Boyce, thank you so much. Keeping your life in second screens and Monday Night Raw After Show. Monday Night Raw comes to you live from Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, whereas this show is broadcasting live from North Hollywood, California. We got so much to talk about today. We have some matches. We got some King's Court later on. But before we do, let's introduce our all-star panel. On my far left, this guy here is a living, breathing historian, the voice of AEW Dynamite After Show on AfterBuzz TV, Mr. Jack Farmer.
Flobito.com, you old gunslinger. How the hell you doing?
Flobito. How was your Thanksgiving, man? Was it great?
It was great. Fat and full of turkey.
You are not fat, good sir. You're a king, bless up.
Diet starts tomorrow.
Diet starts always tomorrow. And on his right, this guy is the man you call the heel, Hollywood Jim, the controversial firebrand, real talker official, the Second City Saint, Mr. Jim Alexander.
Wow, that was good.
Hola! No, I ain't playing that game. I ain't playing that game.
Ciao.
I've been gone for too long to just give you guys an hola. I'm back for now, at least. So enjoy the ride. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I got announcements.
The bilingual edition of
I do
it all.
actually.
You do have an announcement?
Yeah,
Is it coming later on?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's a
That's a tease. So, shout out to the Raw Espanol team. The Raw and Espanol, the Special show, comes on after this on AfterBuzz TV Latino. We had a bit of an exchange last week. They were on this show, and I actually went over there.
What? I missed it.
Yeah, you were out there on the beach.
Give it up for Flobito Reyes.
Yeah, Flobito Reyes. Josh the Booth. How you living, man?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Still pretty pumped from Saturday. I got to see the almighty Slayer of all people. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
I love it. Guys, overall thoughts of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. One day after Starcade, I should say.
Starcade, the legendary Starcade.
Not Starcade, yeah.
Yeah, I really loved this episode. I thought it did a really good job of blending things together, particularly in the beginning, and so it was a bit of a smoother ride than usual.
See, you do it to tease me, bro. You totally do it. Don't get me fired up. We were talking about this before the show about it seems that at the script stage, it's a little bit more of these segments are kind of flowing together, which makes sense if you're in a post The Irishman world of sitting down for 3 hours at a time and watching. Yeah, but I miss my segments because I'm trying to prep the show and everything is going into each other. So I'm like, this is so frustrating. But the show itself is pretty solid. This Jim Alexander saw our thoughts on Monday Night Raw and how it's coming the past couple weeks.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of the main event.
Humberto?
Humberto or I don't know this guy's name. Yeah, whatever.
Carrillo.
I thought he was supposed to not get a push. I thought it was stalled. So apparently he's still living on his last remains of it. Is that what we're getting? Because I'm still not sold on the OC the way I thought they would be at this point.
Fair.
I thought they would have a fourth member finally at some point, and I thought they would be just taking over the shows. Like that was when initially they came together. Now they're more of like a like a triangle of a tag team, kind of like the New Day, just lesser in a way that they're not as over. New Day at least over with
Jack,
the fans.
It's so funny you say this because literally today I was talking to Leslie out in the green room about how tonight was the night I'm over the OC.
Yeah, it's bland.
Was it a particular moment, which is another thing today that happened, or
it's just I've been actually a fan of AJ more than anything else with this.
Yeah,
group.
you hated Gallows for a long time,
and I was never really a huge fan of the Good Brothers, but for some reason today they just seemed corny. They just didn't seem special. They were lacking.
Are they dragging him down?
I think at this point they are.
Or did AJ not have sort of a plan after SummerSlam? Because it seems like AJ's really fell off since the move to Raw. Like he hasn't found his niche. He had that the run with the title for a bit.
Yeah.
But we were talking about a guy who was a main eventer for 2 straight years on SmackDown. He was the face of SmackDown, the top guy on that brand, and now he's kind of fumbling around. And this OC thing could have been a reintroduction to him.
Sure.
But they're making him too corny. They're too much of a goof troop. This group.
A goof troop, especially tonight.
Gosh.
They were just everything they were doing was they were like, "Oh, you really hurt AJ's feelings," and like
it's comedy though. It's heels.
But that's
that
not
make
the guy. AJ's too good to be in this kind of a spoof of a team,
especially when you're facing down Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. When you have those two guys in the ring and you're being a corny, silly goofball, it just AJ's a star. I get bringing him down. I get bringing him down to the mid card for a little bit to help kind of build some guys up. It's time to put him back up to the top.
Totally, especially on Raw.
What
And
about
I think
tonight?
they need to jettison off the other two.
I disagree. But what about tonight? Looks like Randy Orton is getting to a play between McIntyre and AJ. We see Randy Orton getting involved in that match. That could be our next feud. AJ's or Randy Orton. Looks like there's still some stock left in AJ.
We saw that at WrestleMania, and that was a hell of a match.
It was.
I just thought it didn't end right.
Here's a chance.
Yeah, I think they should redo this and kind of. I don't know if you can scrap the idea of that whole run towards a WrestleMania when they had that match, but I think you can do something with that. But at this point, take away AJ from the OC or add him a new member and someone that's really going to make a mark. Because right now they're just treading water and not going anywhere.
What was the last real win that the OC got besides the Crown Jewel one?
I think that's it. I think that they're basically in that Riot Squad spot where they're the bad guys who are formidable, but they will always get their comeuppance at the end.
That's not good
So that's
enough.
I'm just putting it out there, but
which is fair. But I mean, after how long have they been together now? Like 8 months. It's
about that, a little longer. than
Really?
that. Yeah.
The
They've been
OC?
together- They've been together for a long time.
It's been a long.
I mean, it's
notice
December
it.
now.
Yeah.
Wow, that just shows how they floated along without really
nothing. Which again is fine for a little bit, but today was the day. Just to me, just the way they were carrying themselves when they were out there, I was just like, I'm over this. It's time for AJ to go back to the main event. If they're gonna keep the OC, I agree with Jim. They need to add somebody. They need to do something to add some spark and some fire to that team. Because as it is now,
you guys are sitting over there with your jacket spewing hot takes. I mean, I like the group together, man. Why not? But let's talk about Ricochet for a second. Here's a guy that is.
Speaking of fumbling around.
Yeah, I mean, this is so frustrating for me as an athlete in wins and losses. That's out of my hands. But as a character, you've told me many times tonight he is a superhero. Is that helpful for anybody?
No.
Will that get anyone over? Quote unquote.
not if you're not saving people.
Or has a cape on, right?
Yeah.
Give Ricochet a cape, maybe then he'll be over. Is this why we're getting this? Because they literally have no ideas for him? Like, what to peg him as? Because we know he's not most comfortable on the mic. We can see that. He's got a very nice guy personality on the mic. Like, I feel like I'd run into Ricochet at a grocery store, he'd be the same guy as he is on screen. I don't know if he's got the heel in him or anything like that, or some edge. I'm talking not even about heel edge. He needs edginess. And with that moveset, that will work. But this super heel, like this whole gimmick, he flies around, he's a superhero. It's not even corny. It's just like, it makes him look bad. And it just doesn't even fit in any sense at all.
Is it for kids? Is that what we do?
Not even.
If he's going to be for kids, that's fine. But I think they need to be consistent with him. Because he wins, he loses. He's kind of 50-50 booking.
Yeah.
But he has no story. I need something.
No
from
direction.
It.
That's what happens to a guy that has no direction.
I would like to see the writer's room and just see what they have in mind for him.
Oh, sure. Let's see the writer's room and get behind him for that. I understand. But speaking of people writing things, Seth Rollins comes out, former Universal Champion, former WWE Champion.
Thank goodness.
With an apology for going out of pocket last week on Monday Night Raw, saying, I just get so fired up sometimes. I really, really care. Jack Farmer, why does Seth Rollins sound like a middle manager from a Scranton paper company?
Wow, what a thought out prick.
I love this because I think they're slowly turning him heel. And as wrestling fans, we're always talking about how we want things to build and for stories to progress.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. They're not going to have it just be a one day him suddenly going, I'm a bad guy now.
Right.
But they're slowly turning him heel. They're making him more and more annoying, more and more difficult to watch. And they're slowly going to have him become the heel that we all want him to be.
What kind of heel, Jack, though? What kind of heel do you think you want him to be? And what kind of a heel do you think they're going to turn him into, though?
Well, that's actually a phenomenal question. I think he would be a good. I always use the word phenomenal, but
like
it's out of place with AJ on the roster. But
he's an
I like him as sort of the Bret Hart heel, not in the Canadian sense, but just as that like I am a technical,
in an Iowa sense,
in an Iowa sense, that very serious like. He cheats every now and again, but he still presents himself as the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
I like that.
Touting himself kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. Actually, a good. We haven't had that kind of a heel in a while.
He says he's the best in the world. I mean, he was that guy on Twitter, which is why everyone was turning on him, because he went after Will Ospreay and guys not in their company. You know what I'm saying?
I think if he started doing that in the ring.
You never heard of Will Ospreay. Go ahead. Jim's a heel, guys.
It's on brand. Don't worry.
Is he a medical guy or something?
A medical
He's pitching like some kind of like
Will
products
MD.
Cocoa butter, maybe?
Right,
I don't
yeah.
know. What does he sell?
He has a promo code right for you, Jack. You were saying.
No, but yeah, I think if he just took that character he's built for himself on Twitter and put that on TV, that, hey, I'm the face of the company, guys. You don't know how hard it is to be me.
Right.
That is the character I think that they could take to the next level as a heel, I think. Because that's what we need. We need him to be a heel. We're not going to cheer him for a while.
We can agree that this major face baby, aka a Roman Reigns push, has been a failure. It has not gone over.
No.
I think the fans have turned on him. He's never, even when he was like over with the fans, he still wasn't over.
Right.
Like he was just like sort of the default top babyface of the company. He was never beloved. He was more so tolerated and liked. I just don't, and this is a guy that's actually good on the mic. When he was a heel, when he was with the faction with Triple H and the Authority, he was cutting crazy promos.
Yeah.
And when he turned face, he just became like a dude, you know, it's just like one of those like, hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm here to take over and beat the biggest heel. Like, it just wasn't
here to
selling.
be the biggest heel. I think what it was, because if you go back, he was
Brock's
very
promo.
much an internet darling. Like people loved him, and the people who were like the smart fans loved him.
Tyler Black or whatever.
Yeah, the people, but he became the person that we all hated him being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we didn't want him to be like the John Cena. We wanted him to be the cool guy, but he became the John Cena.
Yeah,
and
he
that's
became
why
corny.
we turned on him.
He became corny.
Dang. Is there anyone that could be, I know we're getting a little short on time, but is there anyone that could be at that level and still be cool for an extended period
On
of
the
time?
roster right now?
Like currently, because we're talking about Austin and The Rock and all that, but I mean like now, can you elevate anyone on the roster now?
To be like the face of the company,
And
like the guy
6
that
months
says
time
those things.
has enough like character juice that have us go, he's still cool.
Kevin Owens. Maybe not. I don't know. Kevin Owens is good on the mic, but I think if you were to force feed him those company lines, it's hard to say.
Well, speaking of today, his promo with Lana, he's just like, I'm a fan now because he got in Lana's face. Like, I'm done with the storyline. I am too, Kevin Owens. Gabby was right. Leslie was right.
What did they say?
They're
What are
Kevin
they
Owens
talking-
fans. They're Kevin Owens fans.
Oh, they are?
I'm fans now. But yeah, he's being pushed to be the top babyface on Raw, if not the company, is face of that. Question is, can he do it without being corny?
Right now, what he's doing is the opposite of what they were having guys like Seth Rollins do. Because Seth Rollins was being the company man, but right now, if you listen to Kevin Owens' promos,
He's the voice of the people.
He's the voice of the people, exactly. He's saying what we're all thinking, even in this Lana storyline where he's like, shut up, we don't want to hear it anymore. That's what a lot of people are saying. Now,
Didn't Seth Rollins do that last year, though? This time last year, he was the one that went to Baron Corbin and was like, you suck as a GM. That was the same thing he did.
But that didn't last. That didn't go over. That's the difference.
Okay.
It was just like a spot kind of thing.
I just asked questions,
Yeah.
bro.
Go ahead.
and they kind of squashed it when they had the bosses themselves come out and say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because then it just said, cool, he's aligning with them still. He was still, even on camera, aligning
deep.
with what the people are saying.
That's deep, bro.
Interesting. No, he's the voice of the people. I think he's that mouthpiece for the fans that maybe WWE's using Kevin Owens that way to be like sort of like, oh, we're listening to you guys. Here's Kevin kind of reverberating all that stuff. Wow, what a word. Reverberating.
It reverberates with
In a way, and that's what it's needed. We need someone. We don't have anyone on both any roster like that right now, right? So someone that speaks for the people, kind of does the heelish but face things, right? I think that's the right guy because he plays it off. He pulls it off well too. So
he's
you got to
the
give him
first
credit
face too that's been presented as a smart face. Usually faces come off like such idiots because they don't see the backstabbing coming and they trust the wrong person. But he's actually being presented as smart, which is very rare for faces these days.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to everyone in the chat. Nisa Barr says Seth Rollins is annoying, which is pretty on point for Nisa Barr. Shout out to AEW Dynamite panel. That's like your panel, isn't it?
That's Anissa, how's it going?
Yo,
Thanks for
true wrestling
tuning
fans
in.
support each
When
other's
did this
shows.
happen?
Anissa, if you could do me a favor and just let everyone know in the chat where they can check out the AEW show.
Who's on that panel now?
Jack and Roger Coral and Jessica O'Connor and Nisa Barr. But Jack, you do all the
And
work.
Josh in the booth as
And
well
Josh
is
in the
always
booth.
there.
Josh is always in
What's
the booth,
up?
man. Making it happen. Jack Farmer, can you do the world a favor and cut a promo and tell people I can listen to this show and other AfterBuzz shows, please, good sir?
Well, you can watch us. You can also watch other shows like AEW or NXT as well, which
Thank
is
you.
on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific here on AfterBuzz TV. But the only way we stay on is through viewers like you. And what we could have you guys do is just hit the like button, comment,
trademark.
subscribe. 5-star reviews. You know the drill. You've done it before. Go ahead and hit us with all those wonderful comments and subscribes and likes. We're the ESPN of TV talk. Help us stay that way.
Oh, you use that line. Boy,
Why you sound so like excited? Like we still use that line? Oh man, so,
I just barely got it in there.
well, what a company guy right there.
let's talk about this Lashley thing real quick because
Yes, let's talk about it real long, not quick.
Because yesterday at Starrcade, there was a bit of development there. There was a whole thing about restraining orders and Rusev, and basically, long story short, there was a match. Bobby Lashley got into a match which basically was no contest, I guess. Lashley and Lana ended up arrested. Jack Farmer, since you guys love this storyline so much, just tell me how amazing it is.
So dramatic.
Move on.
Listen,
Please.
you know, it's so funny because we were just in the back watching this, and everyone was talking about how they hate it. Yet as they were saying that, people were gathering around, putting on their headphones. Shout out J-Lo. She was watching it in the back.
This is your fault, J-Lo. It's about that.
Everyone was gathering around, watching it. Is it the storyline I'm most proud of?
Yes.
No.
It looks like you are.
But
I am,
honestly,
actually.
like you always tune in. And listen, everyone's gonna say, I loved it when Kevin Owens said shut up. I loved that part so much. No, what you loved was Lana being a great heel, getting told off. If Lana was a nobody, no one would have cared about that scene.
You are trolling me right now. You can't tell me that's good television. You
That
can't
is
tell me it's good
absolutely
television.
great television.
Lana,
Excuse me, I'm talking here.
Lana is going to be this generation's Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, look at that.
Vicky Guerrero is a whole
Excuse
class
me?
sales for herself.
Love it.
Do not disrespect Vicky Guerrero and her character work and her
Excuse
training than Lana.
You
Because
know-
Vicky Guerrero went to WrestleMania. Has Lana had a WrestleMania match? I'm just...
Here's the thing. This is a perfect time to drop my big news.
Big news.
Yes.
You're dating
all
Vicky
of you
Guerrero?
fans of... Huh?
You're dating Vicky Guerrero?
Oh, hell no. I might be dating Lana. Here's the big news because Real Talkers, the scoop of all places. This Wednesday, I will be interviewing Lana.
Whoa!
There we go. Okay, CJ Perry, Lana, coming on Real Talker. We're going to talk real stuff. We're going to talk about how big of a fan I am of hers and the huge storyline.
Awesome.
That's
So there's
amazing.
going to be I'm going to ask some hard-hitting questions, as you guys know right there.
Where can we watch that?
It's going to be on Real Talker, so I'm doing an interview
RealTalker.com
Wednesday.
at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, well, it's not
Wednesday.
going to be live. I'm going to do a little, off-the-clock
some
interview.
posts.
Seth's promoting our stuff. If you guys have questions for Jim Alexander, see him on Twitter at the Jim
Yes,
Alexander.
that's right. I will
Yeah.
ask Lana, CJ Perry, gladly coming on some good questions. So there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
be watching that.
Yeah, it's going to be on podcasts, on iTunes. It's going to be on Real Talkers, so soon, by the end of this week, probably.
All right, moving on.
There we go.
Drew McIntyre.
Perfect guy to interview. Yeah.
Drew McIntyre comes out, looks like he's invigorated, has some business to deal with Randy Orton. But first, a match with Akira Tozawa. Now, we all knew Akira was not going to win. Akira hasn't won a match in...
Did we?
No, there's no chance. In about 6 weeks, but he has shown up a lot more in NXT, Survivor Series, and this. What's that say about having to always be ready, right? If you're in the back catering, someone's like, hey, you with the abs, go out there. Thoughts about the match, Jack, and thoughts about Drew McIntyre?
I loved it. I think, look, he's perfect as an enhancement guy. I mean, we always say I get tired of seeing local jobber we've never heard of on TV just get crushed. This is a guy, at least we know, at least he can put on an interesting match. And so it gives him TV time. It makes the win over him look a little bit more interesting. I think he's great. Now, do I see him being the next Universal Champion?
Right.
No. But as a guy to just have someone like Drew McIntyre beat, I think he's awesome.
Jim Alexander, 2020. Is this the last chance, last stand for Drew McIntyre?
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because how many times we've seen the push and then the rug pulled underneath?
Right.
It becomes a point where you just don't care. Right after some point, we're just like, oh, we know who he is. We know, like Ziggler, we stopped caring because we know what it is. Oh, some guys have checks that they care all about checks and they're good with their spot.
It does depend on
it
what
does
their
matter.
contract looks like.
Yeah, they got a fat contract for sure.
It does matter, okay? It doesn't matter how big of a contract, how good set you are. These guys are in this business to be the best, right? To be, if we see the potential in them to be stars, then they should see it in themselves too and care about it, right?
Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre is approaching that territory, has been the Ziggler, where you need to keep him at a place, and that means an upper card, and keep him there and keep storylines with him because we're not going to care soon enough as he, once again, are teased with a push and then he gets the rug pulled under. this is his
Yeah.
final stand. If you can't do it now on this Raw that's kind of is wide open with no major stars, we're kind of talking about who's the biggest heel, who's the biggest face. This is a time to strike. If it's now or never, we're going to see.
Especially building up to WrestleMania right now.
Yeah,
So
it's now or never.
If he doesn't get that momentum going, I agree. He's going to start getting squashed by all the people who are building up to WrestleMania.
That's absolutely a good point about Drew McIntyre.
And yeah, I think he's such a they got to use him, and he's done everything right. He improved who he was as far as a wrestler. He got bigger.
Right.
They need to push
He's
him.
good on the
He
mic,
needs to
you
be
know?
a champion.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
you guys-
But
What's up,
does.
Josh?
So I know how we're looking for a new opponent for Brock. Do you think Drew McIntyre could be the one to dethrone Brock?
As a
Maybe?
face?
As a face, or maybe
At
as a
WrestleMania?
tweener? Probably. I mean, think about it this way: if they're trying to build up Drew McIntyre to be someone credible, I think there's one way to
Tozawa
do
better
it.
not be the first one
No.
to go against.
So
Okay.
here's the thing I see.
Tozawa.
They have to build him up to the Royal Rumble. Obviously, if Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble, he could be credible threat to dethrone Brock Lesnar. But other than that, I really don't see much of a pathway for him to be the top star unless they start treating him like he is a big deal. Because if you see everyone else on the Raw roster, there's really no one that could really step up to Brock other than Drew.
Size-wise, it works.
I'll tell you what Drew does is he retires the Undertaker. That's what they should do.
Really?
No, that doesn't need to
Yeah.
happen.
He's not
been
young
retired.
though. Yeah, he's been. Yeah,
Have you
he's been
seen that
retired.
man?
It's the symbolism, especially as he talks about how he's talked down to other legends in the past. I think that's the thing he does to give him that thing that you can never take away, that thing that you can hang his hat on. He becomes the heel that retires the Undertaker and then moves on to be.
I like Josh's idea because we've seen Drew as a heel for so long.
He's like, you're wrong, Jack.
You know, we've seen Drew as a heel so long as a straight baby face.
Okay.
He could be that big powerhouse kind of baby face that they tried maybe Braun to be or whatnot without being corny and goofy or actually being a kick-ass kind of guy.
Right.
I could see him step up against Brock or The Fiend and take them both out. But the push needs to start now and needs to get revving real quick for that to happen. We've seen quick pushes before.
Yeah.
We've seen guys just come out of nowhere and win titles 2 weeks later, major titles.
I'm trying to find the
So-
year.
I like him as a face.
So
I
who does
actually-
he face at TLC? Because I don't think he has anyone that's available for TLC.
Brock Lesnar does not. But I'm not sure.
No. Drew, because he can't face Brock now. He would
Right.
need to start lining
Absolutely.
up.
Well, I gotta say this: it ain't no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get to Drew. Okay, we can't have scrubs like Tozawa.
All the time.
Going back to the idea of someone retiring during Undertaker, Dylan Matthews made a good point right here. Undertaker has lost twice at Mania now, so whoever retires Taker, it won't be as credible now because he's already lost it past 2 WrestleManias.
Oh, absolutely.
True.
I think if you say it's his last, for real last, it matters. But if it's just a match at Mania, you're right. But if it's like the last one, like they say, this is the last match of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
That means something. Similar to...
If it's built that way.
Yeah. Similar to like Corbin beating Kurt Angle. I mean...
I don't think it will be his last because they're going to use Saudi Arabia, whatever, Crown
that got
Jewel, whatever,
smacked
to bring Undertaker there. So that's more important.
To answer your question, Josh, I was actually looking up. It reminds me of 2012 when Mark Henry took on Sheamus, and Sheamus was a heel, but then his face turn, quote unquote, was saying, "No one will fight Mark Henry. I will." And that's the only way I think I would be on board with Drew being a face, taking out Brock Lesnar. Because you're right, Raw, if it's the C show, there ain't nobody that can touch him as far as someone I can see credibly taking the belt off of him.
Totally.
Yeah. But moving on, so poor Takira Tozawa gets the L there. And let's talk about the OC again, just a little bit. So they were together. Okay. They were together in that whole dust up between Humberto and Rey Mysterio and the main event that came out there. We're all saying that, look, man, we're not really feeling them. If we were to break them up, would you keep them all on Raw? Or would you, the OC, if you were to break them up, if you're saying, look, Gallows and Anderson needs to go away from AJ Styles real quick, would you have them as a tag team? Or would you separate them as 3 different
No, they need to be separated. I want to see Gallows. I want to see all of them as individuals.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen the team of Gallows and I forgot the other guy, Anderson. Yeah, you see, I even forgot his name. Let's see what they can do. Give him some gimmicks, not like corny Festus kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But give him some. I think Gallows could be a kind of a menacing heel, you know, on his own. And I want to see Anderson in a storyline, and that will allow AJ to be back to himself.
I think I agree that we need to separate them. I'm not a huge Gallows fan personally. I do like Carl Anderson. I think that he could be a good mid-card heel. I don't think
With a gimmick, though. He's too bland and plain without a gimmick.
I think right now, we're never going to take him seriously ever again, especially as a lot of big tag teams are coming through.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a place for them with guys like the AOP and the Viking Raiders, and as guys like Heavy Machinery start to get rolling, and Newsday are still going to need to...
So my next question is, so there's no one in the OC now, save for AJ, so no Carl Anderson, no Gallows are main event worthy. Because the main event picture in Raw is wide open. There's no one around.
Unless the only way they can be in a main event is they add a fourth member, a legitimate fourth member that really puts the group on the top of as a faction. Because they're not a faction now. They're just like a glorified 3-person tag team.
Agreed.
You know, with AJ being the most prominent one.
I'll give you that.
If they become a faction with a fourth member that's a major ass kicker, whoever's kind of struggling or fumbling around, bring him up.
Chris Maley says, put Gallows on SmackDown and Anderson on NXT. Dylan Matthews says, why not keep the Good Brothers together and put them for singles runs? All good options.
Put them on NXT.
Actually, I think they'd be great on NXT.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really good
Yeah,
spot
they're no
for
longer
that.
developmental anymore. They're pretty much on par with the other brands
exactly.
now. I've been saying that for weeks. Now it's time for TK's Boudoir. TK's Boudoir, sponsored in part by Jim Alexander. Doing the Dirty Bird? What are you doing?
Sponsored by Real Talker.
RealTalker.com. For exclusive news and updates.
Right. On Lana.
What tape is that?
Today's TK Boudoir sponsored by Cocoa Butter Cream and Gummies.
And oils, yeah.
We are putting in... Lana's got to be in the boudoir.
Of course she is.
You know what? She deserves it, though. She deserves it, though.
Of course she is, though, yeah.
We talked about someone outside that should have been in a boudoir. I forgot already. Oh, Zelina Vega.
Zelina Vega. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zelina Vega gets in a boudoir. And, I mean, I can't put anyone in the OC. Let's put...
In the OC.
I'm taking suggestions for today's boudoir. Who else should go on?
I'm a big Kairi Sane person.
Kairi Sane.
Oh, yeah, she's never been.
She should go in.
Yeah,
I like Kairi Sane.
Blue thing of the year, man.
Blue thing of the year, yeah. I think it's a solid boudoir.
Yeah, solid boudoir.
Yeah,
It's one of the best ever. Yeah.
That's like off track, kind of off beat.
Best boudoirs ever, yo.
Yeah, so let's put some new people in the boudoir right
Heck
now.
yeah, I think Naomi's still there chilling out at catering.
Naomi? Oh.
Moving on, it's now time for...
What about Usos?
I thought it was Trinity.
Oh, yeah, Trinity, right. I know her personally. Moving on, it's now time for King's Court. Gets 2 segments. Are we bound? Okay, well, as well.
You gotta sell it, Flobo.
Commit to the bit. We're committed to the bit.
Jim Alexander. He is the most handsome, charming, intellectual, and brilliant man on God's green
Fix your
earth.
jacket.
Pay attention when the AfterBuzz King speaks.
Oh, so it's truer words were never said. I love that woman, whoever she is. Call me up, realtalker.com. That's where you find me. Today's King's Court. Of course, Bobby's manning. He might be in jail, but we got him out, so he mans the door in the King's Court. Okay? We have Lana in there.
She's there too? In the King's Court and the boudoir?
Yeah, double. Because this is special. This is Lana week.
So is the
in
King's
my
Court
life.
across the street from the boudoir? It's a different
Today
dimension?
it is. Usually TK's on the road with like a pop-up.
Right. Cocoa butter.
But this week we are taking it on the road. We're taking, oh God, Lana's there. I can't wait to talk to her. Mandy Rose, I'm seeing her on social media constantly popping up and all that. What is that fat guy from Heavy Machinery trying to hit on her on the bump? What the hell's going on there?
He has a shot.
No, that ain't
He's
happening, brother.
coming.
No,
Listen,
that ain't
you
happening.
can't blame a guy for shooting his
Yeah,
shot.
for
No.
real, man.
Right.
I would do it
I'm
too. if I was
blocking
in
that. Mandy Rose. You know who I'm putting in? Liv Morgan. For goodness sake, she
Is
needs
that
to
where
be.
she is?
That's where she's been the whole time. She's been in the King's Court. I love Liv
you,
Morgan. And Alexa Bliss, injured or not.
She came
always,
back on Friday. I guess she's back.
Hey, for 1 week or not, you know,
Yeah.
it's good. She's got always a place on the King's Court. So that's this week's King's Court. And Zelina Vega's making her way from the outside, but still not inside. Wow,
I gotta get into this court, man.
This
One of
is
these
the
days.
best party ever.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
It's
the
a
best
Yeah.
party ever.
I'm gonna sneak into the King's Court one of these days. I'm gonna.
Moving on.
This is exactly the
We
place
got
to be.
ourselves a handicap match. Charlotte Flair, the queen herself, taking on both members of Kairi Sane and Asuka.
You know it's the
Not
match.
tag team match. No, it's not. It's not. No highlights. Kairi Sane with the win on a match that was surprisingly long given the odds. Jack Farmer, thoughts about the match?
I thought it was actually a lot more interesting than I expected it to be. As far as how long it went, I don't think it is trying to say anything other than they needed to fill time. I don't think it was like the Kabuki Warriors were weak. I think it was just they were probably just like, we got 10 minutes to kill.
Yeah.
Go out there and do it. But they actually there was a lot more near falls that I was kind of surprised by than I expected. So I thought it was fun. I like seeing all three of them, so I was happy with it.
Hey, if Becky Lynch is not on Raw today, Jim, where would she be? Is she at catering and she has another thing to do? Like, I thought
she's
she would
so
have made a run in.
busy. I mean, she needs probably a week off from all those great promos that she's been cutting, you know? So take a break. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Did we miss Becky Lynch, though?
She's top of the division, though.
But did we miss her on the show not being here? I didn't notice.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't notice.
To be fair, I don't feel like we missed something not having her
Fair,
here.
okay.
Also, because what else? No, but like, what do you have her do at this point?
Yeah.
Like what can
Shine
she
other
do?
talents, you know?
Yeah.
For once, I mean, with her gone, it kind of felt. You took a breath and the air was fresh in a sense where you get to see others and without the focus of Becky dominating, right?
Right.
It's because
She's a man.
I can't with that storyline too. It just it's drop it already. You know, it's like the man was okay to put you over WrestleMania to get that win. Now that you won it and can't lose at all, what do you still need to be
Gimmicks
the man
stay
for?
longer than that. No one says like a boss anymore, but Sasha's stuck with that. You can't fault Becky for being the man.
But here's the thing: does Sasha's boss go over besides the Knuckles or whatever?
No, it
and
doesn't.
sell
But
merch.
But that's what I'm saying is you get a nickname. You kind of have to ride it out for a long period of time until your character changes.
But that just shows me with something with Becky, if she wants to be in this elite level, she's so basic in every sense with her promos. Promos, I mean, everything, even the nicknames.
Love or hate her, she's been very exposed lately. You need to have her step back a little bit to let the division breathe, because if she's out here beating people every single week, she'll never have a contender. You need to have her step back a little bit.
But that says more about the division, because Shayna Baszler has been doing that for almost 2 years, and we were like, okay, fine. NXT brings a whole new core of women.
I mean, it does say, but it is what it is, right? Like
Shayna Baszler's a different act. You know, it's a different character. It's a different, and it was a different brand.
She's also not on every episode.
Right.
True, absolutely true. Just real quick thoughts about the new theme song for Asuka and Kairi Sane. Debuted on yesterday, I think, at Starrcade.
I loved it. I think it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's all right. I think.
You're the resident chef and chief of the Kairi Sane and the Kabuki War.
To me, this
what
song,
do you think?
It
Flobo?
sounds very like Eastern, but then like the beat drops. I'm like, yo, is Ezekiel Jackson coming back?
Big Zeke.
He sounds kind of heavy, you know, but it's cool. I don't hate it.
His Google alert is gonna go off.
What the hell?
Throw in some Ahmed Johnson. Yes.
Purple plunge. Moving on.
But it's better than the combined themes, right?
Absolutely,
You've gotta say
absolutely.
like,
It takes me a while for that to be like, oh, that's definitely Asuka Kairi Sane.
Is that good for them? Does they give us like some hope that they're investing more into them by even creating a promo song and all that for them, an entrance? Yeah,
I think they are starting to click too as a team. Like they feel like a strong team and not someone who is put together to bolster the numbers of a tag team.
Yeah, Paige. Tony Nese was in action against Aleister Black.
Oh, that was a big conversation. But
Tony Nese had no chance in heck in winning this one, but Buddy Murphy's looking on. Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black may be the next feud for TLC. Maybe.
Who had better odds tonight, Tozawa or Nese?
Nese. I think Nese had better odds, man.
I mean, I'm just wondering, how's this dude build at 205? There's no way.
No way.
He's huge.
He has skinny ankles. Yeah.
I weigh more than him. That's not possible. Yeah. And then looking at this screen, I did gain some weight. I mean, man, maybe Cam adds a few pounds, but damn, that turkey, too much of it.
It does?
Anyways,
we're all
Tony Nese.
Welcome back to
Tony Nese. Like, this is a good spot for him. It really is, because here he was on a show that I never even heard of or watched once by accident that I was live at, and here he is actually not getting squashed by Aleister. He gets some ring time. He puts some moves out there.
Sounds like a champ too.
You know what? And he looks decent.
Great.
You know what I mean? In that sense, he looks like he could go against Aleister. I thought it was like a huge night for Tony Nese, actually. You know.
And this is what I was kind of saying about Tozawa too, is like, this is so much better than Aleister Black coming out and squashing some guy we've never seen before in 5 minutes. Like, it made everyone look better. Nese got a chance to do a little shining. Did we ever really feel like he was going to win? No.
Right.
But it still did the job. It made everyone look better than if it was just whatever the Indiana Express or whatever, whoever they bring out.
They're really good, actually.
But does it matter? Because if you don't watch 205, Tony Nese has been on Raw 3 times in the past year. Isn't that just as bad as it being just a jobber if you don't know who that is?
You can see and feel a difference.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we'll get to the Viking Raiders, but as soon as you see those guys, you're like, no.
Yeah.
You feel it. And he had at least a presence of, okay, he's beating someone that means something. And even if you've never seen him, he looked good. And you might go, I'll check him out on 205.
He looked the part to even be deserving to be in a ring with Alistair in that sense. It's like, that's not a total squash guy. He looks big. He looks decent. He looks like a guy that could hang,
Good point about the Viking Raiders. Did it bother you that the tag team champions are still facing jobbers?
Yes.
Yes. It's now, this is the point we're talking about where you draw something out too long and then you start losing faith. How long does this dominant team have to go against jobbers? I mean, the AOP, that's the ultimate, end game here.
Right.
But you need them to face someone legitimate. At this point, since we have no hopes for Anderson and Gallows, at least go over them.
Well, they've already gone over them. That's the only real team that they've beaten.
True.
And that's what
Hawkins and Ryder.
It's a.
Oh, they don't count.
Yeah. So what happens then when they face the AOP and the AOP beats them? They're going to look like chumps because that's the only real team they're going to have faced.
Right.
They need to start beating some real teams. I mean, even if they bring out the Ascension, they got to beat someone who's an actual team as opposed to just local talent.
Are Revival on Raw still? No, they're SmackDown.
Revival SmackDown. But is Ascension on Raw? I don't even know where they are.
I don't know where they are.
Did you get drafted?
Wait, who the hell is Ascension?
Connor and Victor.
The face painted
Oh,
guys.
hell no. I didn't know they were still on a
They might not be. I'm just saying,
I didn't know they were on Raw.
At least, I'm just saying, at least a team, like a real
They're
team.
like No Way Jose land. Okay?
No Way Jose had a match tonight.
Oh, crap. That's better out than that.
Transition of the night.
Against Eric Rowan in his bag / satchel. Eric Rowan totally just demolishes him because one of the people in the conga line went after the bag and got totally destroyed.
What's in this bag?
No one cares.
I care.
Well, that's the thing. Now you got interviewers in the back after their match being like, "What's in the bag?" Which is kind of funny to me. If people who are journalists at wrestling be like, "Yo, really, what's in the bag?" Thoughts about the match?
It was a squash.
Hot take.
Yeah. I'm over the guessing game. Like, I just want to know what's in there. Because there's nothing at this point that's going to be so interesting that it's going to feel worth waiting for.
Right.
I mean...
What if it is? What if it's some major revelation and, a sign to bringing someone back? Maybe he's just, maybe he's a placeholder for someone coming back. He's holding a mask, I won't say, of a mayor like Kane.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
are you hungry?
You can't even have his teeth because he doesn't have any, okay? Right. Lars Sullivan. No, but he could be like a conduit, another great word by me, a conduit to someone.
Thesaurus.com.
Yeah, like having a mask or something. He could be that precursor to someone debuting potentially.
Right.
Haven't you thought of that? Maybe that could be a possibility.
It depends on the right storyline. If he gets the right storyline.
If it is, that would be genius. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's bringing someone in, but other than that, I mean, one, it's got to be someone good, too. If it's going to be dragging out. And if they reveal at TLC, I think that's fine. But if they try to drag this out until, Fastlane or something, it's going to get old really, really quick. But if it's bringing someone back, if it's like he's got, I don't know, Liv Morgan in there or something.
I hope.
That's really tiny. Like, you did
Liv Morgan. Jesus, that's too good for that.
Yeah, with me in the cage.
Love Liv Morgan.
Yes, you do that. Abundantly, you said that many times. Andrade Cien Almas, the former Cien Almas, had a match with Eric Young. El Idolo had a match with Eric Young? What?
Eric Young's on Raw? I didn't even know he was on that.
Definitely in better shape as the last time we saw him about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
But again, Andrade was not in peril at all. Zelina Vega was on point. Back to your point about more people who are brand name people at all. But the thing is, the problem I have about Eric Young is, are you going to keep him around to be an undercard person? I won't say jobber, but it feels kind of weird having him out every 6 weeks like this.
But here's the thing.
They're not going to push him.
I'm saying that, but an undercard person, like a Barry Horowitz, if you will.
No. But here's the question here. Look at how many squash guys we're getting introduced to and how many squash matches we're having.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Andrade. We're talking about Eric Young having, there's so many squash opponents. And Tony Nese being a squash opponent potentially. What's going on here? Are they rebooting and restarting so many? And we're talking about the Viking Raiders having squash. Is this like a new thing that they're doing now? It's like, let's bring in the old days of the enhancement talent and build guys up from the bottom. That works, but you can't have 6-7 guys being built up and going against enhancement talent because that waters down the show.
Yeah.
All we're seeing is guys
Especially a long 3 hours.
Yeah.
It
1 or 2 people having squash guys they're going through, but not like 4 or 5 of them on one show. That just waters down the show and like what's going on. We can't have 5 different people rebooting, from the
Dylan
start.
says the Ascension is on Raw. The thing I swear with SmackDown being on Fox and NXT being elevated, someone had to lose, and so it's Raw's talent. It's pretty much open. It's most divisions are pretty
It's a
much
good thing, though.
are gutted in
Yeah.
a good way. But now we're in a transition period because you are getting squash matches, you are getting Jobber to the Stars matches. We don't really know what Raw's going to be. I'm thinking watching it now, it's supposed to be their teenage product, but it doesn't quite come across. I don't know what their gimmick is, but it is kind of frustrating watching 3 hours of 1 or 2 competitive matches and the rest being squash. It takes me back to WWF Superstars when I was a
Here's the
kid
thing.
and Wrestling
Exactly.
Challenge. It's
Here's
kinda
the thing.
frustrating.
Yeah.
This is where you use the veterans to their max right now as a holdover till they build some guys up. This is where Randy Orton, this is where AJ Styles should be on top. They should be on top of the card, on top of the shows, feuding for the title, whatnot. They should be the main top 4 guys that the storylines revolve around while they build all the other guys and slowly kind of build McIntyre back up to be this dominant force and bring him. And then you can have the veterans go up against him and have a McIntyre squash him and then like, whoa, he's arrived. So
Right.
this is a time for Orton. This is time for AJ Styles to be on top of the card, be the big guys, and then have, if you want to be doing these grooming things and growing pains for some of these guys are rebooting, you need to have the top guys already that have been established right now, not floundering too.
Jack, the business is cyclical. Is Raw in the down period?
I think right now they're really set up to do some amazing things. I think they have a great roster, but as mentioned, they need to start making some things click. And I think it's okay to have a show like today where there's a lot of jobbers and a lot of pretty clear decisive matches.
Would you be satisfied if you paid a ticket to watch today's episode, seeing the disparity of the actual matches, having like some
being live?
Yeah, if you were there live,
I'm a
would you?
sucker for live events, so I'm always happy. I'm very easy to please
Continue.
at a live
okay.
event, but it's. We need to start seeing some stuff adjust. And I agree. I think you need to put Randy Orton back at the top. You need to put AJ back at the top. And you need to start having guys like Andrade start popping. You can't have him just beating more jobbers.
Young, come on.
He needs to start getting in real feuds. You need to start having Rey Mysterio defend his title, this newly won title, against some legitimate opponents and starting to put them over in a good way instead of just in these weird thrown together 6-man tag teams.
Yeah, you need to. This is the point. This is where you use the because Raw right now isn't a rebuild, what we call in sports.
Right.
Like
Golden State.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, they rebooted, they reset. The other brands took away some of their talent. It's a wide open thing. This is where, but you have some good key veterans. We talk about the importance of Orton, AJ, and Rollins is obviously established. You have some key players. They're not like stripped bare. They do have some big time players that have been established and known. Even Rey is a name. So this is a time, if you're going to do this reboot, you don't have that much time. If you're talking about Royal Rumble and WrestleMania around the corner, we need to see this start happening quickly, and there's a chance for them. They're testing a lot now, but I just think they're slowly running out of time to be testing constantly with storylines and wrestlers who they want to push. Let's see this start coming together real quick, because we're already in December, and Royal Rumble's right around the corner.
I know we're running low on time, but I look at the main event, and we had 3 guys lose in the main event. If you're going to have those 3 guys all lose, you could have had Humberto lose to Andrade instead. Right. You could have had Rey Mysterio lose to like an AJ, and you could have had Ricochet lose to Aleister Black. Right. And that makes 3 matches interesting as opposed to the 1.
And more meaningful.
More meaningful. If you're going to give 3 of those guys a loss anyways, I don't think the win really helped AJ or the OC in any way, and I think the other people could have used it more.
That's a good point. Our last match of the evening was a new 24/7 champion has been crowned as Kyle Busch rolls up R-Truth with Michael Waltrip with the 1-2-3. NASCAR, love it. Cross branding. We're in Nashville. It makes sense. It's a NASCAR town. We also talked about the 24/7 titles kind of getting boring, kind of getting lame. But I will say this: it is kind of interesting to see a brand new sport being involved. We saw like golf. We saw like box basketball. Thoughts about that?
Love it. NASCAR, the South. I don't give a damn. Pass that crap off.
I didn't know you were a fan of NASCAR.
Yeah, I was
hillbilly
really?
stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's not a hillbilly thing. Jeff Gordon's from California. I'm just saying, man.
Listen,
Bubba Wallace is black.
It's exactly. So I saw online R-Truth already won it back after the show went up there. But this is exactly what it is. It's just so you can have that little headline that says NASCAR driver wins WWE Championship.
Right.
And people click it to see what it's about.
Yeah, it'll get hits online.
That's what the title's for, and that's what it did.
And on that note, it's about time we get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Monday Night Raw, the after show. We're back here every week, but before we get out of here, on my far left, Jack Farmer, where can the world find you online?
You can find me at jackcfarmer.com as well as at RealJackFarmer across all social media. You can also check me out on the AEW after show every Wednesday night here on AfterBuzz TV at 8 p.m. Pacific.
This man's dynamite, but I'm bringing the fire this Wednesday with Lana. Check out my interview on realtalker.com, REEL Talker. It's going to be up by the end of the week. It's going to be on the Real Talker on podcast, on iTunes. I'm doing big stuff, and you can always catch me at the Jim Alexander on all social media. Flobo.
Yeah, after being out of commission last Wednesday for the holiday, NXT is back this Wednesday at 7 p.m. on AfterBuzz TV Wrestling and Sports. After this show, head over to AfterBuzz TV Latino for the Raw Despuesto show in Espanol. My name is Flobo Boyce. You can follow me at Twitter at Flobo Boyce, on Instagram at Flobito, and support the homie and buy a t-shirt at Flobito.threadless.com. But until next time, buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.